Number 10.
The first recorded structure fire in the United States occurred in 1608 in the colony of Jamestown. On January 7th, a fire leveled most of the fragile colony, which was just barely a year old. Captain John Smith wrote of the fire in his journal, "Most of our apparel, lodging, and private provisions were destroyed. I begin to think that it is safer for me to dwell in the wild Indian country than in this stockade, where fools accidentally discharge their muskets and others burn down their homes at night."
Number 9.
Benjamin Franklin established the first fire company in 1736. Union Fire Company, sometimes called Franklin's Bucket Brigade, was a volunteer fire department formed in Philadelphia in 1736 with the assistance of Benjamin Franklin. It was the very first firefighting organization in Philadelphia, although it was followed within the year by establishment of the Fellowship Fire Company. The fire company was formed on the 7th of December 1736 after a series of publications in the Pennsylvania Gazette by Franklin and others pointing out the need for more effective handling of fires in Philadelphia, and remained active until approximately 1820. Although modeled after the mutual fire societies of Franklin's native Boston, the Union Fire Company protected all members of the community rather than only the members of the company. The Union Fire Company was an association for mutual assistance. Each member agreed to furnish, at his own expense, 6 leather buckets and 2 stout linen bags, each marked with his name and the name of the company, which he was to bring to every fire. The buckets were for carrying water to extinguish the flames, and the bags were to receive and hold property, which was in danger, to save it from risk of theft. The members pledged themselves to repair to any place in danger upon an alarm of fire with their apparatus. Some were to superintend the use of the water, others were to stand at the doors of houses in danger, and to protect the property from theft. On an alarm of fire at night, it was agreed that lights should be placed in the windows of houses of members near the fire in order to prevent confusion, and to enable their friends to give them more speedy and effectual assistance.
Number 8.
In the U.S., an estimated 100 firefighters per year are arrested for setting fires, and the evidence suggests that those firefighters are serial arsonists. One fire chief in Minnesota confessed to setting 9 fires, but there were 39 suspicious ones in his area during a 2-year period and 0 after he was arrested. Fire Chief John Orr killed 4 people doing this and caused millions of dollars worth of damage. It's believed that John Orr started more than 2,000 fires, most of which he personally investigated afterward.
Number 7.
Both fighting forest fires and skydiving are generally considered extremely dangerous. So imagine a profession that combines some of the worst elements of both. Smoke jumping began in 1939 in the Pacific Northwest region of North America because it allowed for faster, more cost-effective deployment of personnel and resources. The program also quickly became an organization known for putting conscientious objectors to work during World War II. Not that it was a well-compensated position. At $5 a month, they were paid about 1/10 of what a private in the regular armed forces made. There wasn't much respect to be had in it, either. The conscientious objectors were all laid off after the war because it was assumed that everyone else would resent their presence if they stayed on. Today, there are about 270 full-time smoke jumpers who are active between June and October, and the danger has hardly lessened since the 1940s.
We are on our way to number 6, but before we get there, don't forget to click that subscribe button, then like our video and share it with your friends. It helps the channel out and lets us know you like us. Thanks for watching.
Number 6.
From 1603 until 1867, Japanese firefighters fought fires in a different kind of way. They wet themselves with hoses so they would be less flammable, causing their uniforms to weigh up to 75 pounds. They used hooks on poles to try to pull the buildings down and smother the fire. They believed preventing the fire from spreading was more important than saving the burning structure itself. Only 5% of all recorded fires, which happened in Japan for centuries, resulted in death, seemingly proving their methods.
Number 5.
Did you know the reason for Dalmatians being used as the dog of choice for firefighters? It was due to Dalmatians getting along well with horses back in the day. Firefighters used horse-drawn carriages, being adept at protecting the carriage and equipment while the firefighters were performing their duties, and being able to run alongside their carriages for lengthy periods of time. Nowadays, the Dalmatian has shifted its role to more of a companion, obviously due to technological upgrades over the years.
Number 4.
Molly Williams was the first recorded woman to serve as a firefighter in an official capacity in New York City in 1815. She was also one of the first African Americans to serve as an official firefighter as well. Unfortunately, she was a slave to Benjamin Amer, who was associated with Oceanus Engine Company 11 during the blizzard of 1818. There were very few male firefighters available due to influenza. Molly stepped up and practically was doing all the work herself, trudging through the snow with the fire pump to emergencies. Nowadays, most firefighters are still men. Women account for just 4% of all firefighters.
Number 3.
In movies, firefighters can navigate inside a burning building easily, quickly finding the injured and taking off their mask to put it on a person in need of help. In reality, a firefighter can't remove their mask because they'll suffocate from the thick smoke. They also can't see anything, and the loud crackling of flames doesn't let them hear any people scream for help.
Number 2.
The biggest enemy of all firefighters is a backdraft. It happens when a fire in a closed room extinguishes without getting oxygen, but upon opening a door, a blazing explosion of fire releasing hot gases flares up. This phenomenon is shown in the movie Backdraft.
Check that door for heat, Tim.
Number 1.
Since 2010, comedian Jon Stewart has been on a crusade to pressure the US government to do something for the heroes of the most notorious event of the 21st century so far. Under these Adrograph, first responders to the September 11, 2001 attacks on the World Trade Center were supposed to receive medical coverage for life. Nevertheless, in 2015, government officials debated stopping this coverage after the initial funding ran out. With Stewart's campaigning and other media outlets finally reporting the problem, the U.S. Congress voted to extend Visa Droga 9/11's Health and Compensation Act to give coverage to 9/11's first responders for their ground zero-related health issues for the next 75 years. President Obama signed it into law in December 2015.
So John asked me to say a couple words today, and a little bit about the jacket. When I was a senior in high school, I was looking for something to do, a direction. I joined the volunteer fire department in May of 1987. The volunteer fire department taught me brotherhood. It gave me a mission in life, and I made the greatest friends that I've ever met in that fire department. When I became a volunteer fireman, I knew I wanted to become a professional firefighter. In that company that I joined in East Meadow Engine 3, Ray Pfeiffer was an ex-captain. Ray joined the East Meadow Fire Department in 1978. To this day, he is still the youngest captain in the East Meadow Fire Department. Ray Pfeiffer also was inspired by his time in the East Meadow Fire Department and joined the New York City Fire Department in 1987. Yesterday, at the Pfeiffer golf outing, Ray's brother Joe decided to give Ray's bunker coat as an auction item. John Field paid handsomely for this yesterday and outbid 3 other people to see to it that he took possession of this coat. I believe everybody here today in this hallway has learned brotherhood and camaraderie because we all have one mission. John wanted Jon Stewart to have this. A couple of us have signed it. And like I said, John made it his mission to outbid 3 other people yesterday and see to it that Jon Stewart had Ray's East Meadow Fire Department bunker coat. So we appreciate your help, John, and this comes from John, and this comes from everybody in this hallway.
Who didn't sign the code yet? So we have Sharpies. So I implore everybody to sign it. I implore you guys to sign the code as well. Everybody say thank you to John.
I don't deserve this.
Yeah, you do.
But I will treasure it like I treasured Ray and our friendship. And all of it. We're going to do it today. Not just for Ray, but for all you guys and all the people that he was fighting for. This is beautiful. Thank you.